Hey buddy, Paul back here again from Ballistic Blood Bullets. Been too long, apologies for that, but back quite appropriately with 80s Italian goodness galore. And we're looking at Bruno Mattei, diving on in with some Bruno Mattei. Can't go wrong with Vincent Dawn. And looking at 4 Blu-ray releases, quite incredibly, of his films. Now, who'd have thought, sitting through the 70s, certainly through the 80s, into the 90s and beyond, with all the gory, brilliant daftness and B-movie brilliance of Bruno Mattei, that we'd have eventually got to see some of his films in glorious HD on Blu-ray. Lots of DVDs, and I'll go through those on another day, and also some wonderful Japanese VHS tapes as well, not just of Bruno Mattei, but of the Euro-Italian cycle from the late 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s and beyond. But again, another day for a video on that. But really excited for this one. So let's dive on in. Let's get our teeth in. Let's get gnawing on Robowar, the first one here in this little delicious pack of 4 Blu-ray releases from the man Bruno Mattei. Robowar is just so astonishingly brilliant in a bad but brilliant way. It's one of my real all-time favourite Italian action films from the 80s. This one, of course, 1988. Just look at the cover art on that. That's classic artwork for the movie. Just let's have a quick look on the back as well. Let's just really bathe in the Bruno brilliance here. And do let me know if you're a fan of Bruno Mattei, aka of course Vincent Dawn, or if you just think his films are that bad that you just don't have the time or patience for them. How dare you, sir? Who are you? Certainly not me. A real huge fan of his stuff. I mean, it's just pure escapism. You just can't go wrong. He just reworks and Xeroxes all of the classic horror sci-fi themes and tropes from days gone by, the likes of Alien and Aliens and Predator, Robocop, and that's what we've got here really. We have got a fabulous B-movie hybrid of Robocop and Predator. Who would have thought? And we got a real splash of Aliens as well. One of Bruno Mattei's most reworked, Xeroxed themes is James Cameron's Aliens. But more on that in a moment. Now, this is a new Blu-ray release from Severin Films. And you probably noticed there, quite welcomingly actually, that these releases, certainly this one here, is all region. So region free, region friendly across the board, A, B and C. And this is a special limited edition collector's one. You get, you're able to pick this one up on DVD, which I'm sure will be fantastic as well, at a good price. And you can get a standalone single disc Blu-ray of this, but this one, the collector's edition, comes with a CD of the music from Festa. That's not a disease. Festa is a real name. And there's the artwork there, same as the cover art for the movie on Blu-ray. I still cannot believe that this one's been released on Blu-ray. I mean, it's just absolutely incredulous, but so absolutely fantastic. Robowar is, for me, just such a glorious, pure escapism piece of matinee madness. Movie making, just absolutely wonderful. Bruno Mattei here is Vincent Dawn. 1988 Robowar, that's when it was first released. And just a little bit of a backstory for anybody out there that may not have seen or heard of this one and may be interested in seeing it for the first time. It's the story. How can we describe the story? This will be interesting. Let's just have some fun with it. Basically, Robowar is about a tinfoil Robocop buying a Predator get-up for $1 and going nutsoid in a South American jungle. This part man, part machine is an Amiga 1 alien tech killing machine. And as operative and cranky as an 80s Commodore 64 computer with arms, legs and a gun. Great fun to load up and lock and load onto though, especially now as this Italian B-movie action sci-fi Jungle Blast hits Blu-ray here from Severin. This, as I say, is the limited edition that comes with both Blu-ray and a bonus CD of the soundtrack. Just that's going to be fantastic. Pop that in the car, play that going down the road. That keep the windows well down, I think, during the summer, and play the funky synth sounds of our Festa. That'll turn a few heads, that's for sure. But this one also has a great cast of highly recognisable faces from the Italian 80s scene, including Jim Gaines, Max Laurel, Catherine Hickland, Romano Pupo, and with a mighty rebel yell, I say yeah, 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 stars Red Brown as Major Murphy Black. There's even a quick turn actually from Bruno Mattei regular cohort Claudio Fragasso, who does a little cameo as a hunter in this one. Fragasso co-wrote the story for Robowar with wife Rosella Drudy, so all the Bruno Mattei gang are gleefully on board here for this one. And of course, let's not forget that music score from our Festa, which comes on the bonus CD disc here as well. Now, Al Festa, his movie music scores can also be discovered in other Italian B classics such as After Death, Cop Game and Fatal Frames. Of course, After Death is Claudio Fragasso, and Cop Game is once again Bruno Mattei. So real connecting factors there across the board. Just so good. I really am genuinely delighted and actually extremely grateful we finally get Robowar on Blu-ray. And I mean, I just would have been happy for this to have hit DVD, to be honest with you. It was very hard to get hold of. I've got the Japanese VHS for it. Was very happy with that, but to get this in HD on Blu-ray, just absolutely, it's literally beyond bonkers. And it just shows that if you wait long enough or patient enough, these little gems come along, and when they do, you've got to grab them gleefully with both hands open wide for sure. There we go, that's Robowar, absolutely fantastic. Now also from Severin, thank you Severin, we have got Shocking Dark. Of course, Bruno Mattei again, should go without saying, but really is another delight to discover, being released on Blu-ray in glorious HD. This one's from 1989. It's also called Terminator 2, so that gives you a clue again for those who are unaware of this one. A little bit of the Terminator-esque elements in this one, and certainly it has. And this one's got like an alien Terminator in Venice in the future, in the lower reaches of underneath Venice, and you've got a group of soldiers surviving, fighting off these creatures, and then you've got also this alien presence, this Terminator presence in the Shocking Dark form. Really quite incredible. Again, this one, as you can probably see there, is also region free, so if you can get a hold of this one, not going to be a problem playing it. But just wonderful stuff, it really truly is. Nice cover art there as well, same as the front, but welcome nonetheless. I mean, it's much better than just having a blank cover art on there, so that's really very nice indeed. Look at that, absolutely fantastic. That's the alien Terminator presence in Shocking Dark, and it's just one of several groovy good Xerox takes by Bruno Mattei on Aliens, as mentioned earlier. This one with a team of specialist soldiers standing off against murderous creatures in a confined environment with equal amounts of gloriously goofy gore and makeup effects. Practical style, of course, to delight in. Absolutely bathe in the Bruno brilliance with this one. So there we go. 2 new releases from, well, fairly new releases. Shocking Dark was a few months ago, but Robowar right off the HD to Blu-ray conveyor belt. Picked it up literally just a few days ago. Pre-ordered it a few weeks back, and delighted to have received it. Absolutely fantastic pair there. Shocking Dark and Robowar, but the goodness just keeps on coming as far as Bruno Mattei is concerned on Blu-ray. And here we've got Zombie Creeping Flesh. They eat the living. Dead good style. Fabulous film. This, of all of the Bruno films, and so difficult to pick a favourite one, but this is right up there. I watched this first time out on a cut VHS UK rental tape, and loved it. And it had so much cut out of it. Literally, it would have been about 10, 12, 15, 20 minutes even, because there's a segment at the beginning which was not released for a long time, which introduces us to the SWAT team, but pretty much all the gore was cut out. But it still had this real charm about it. And that title, Zombie Creeping Flesh, for me is just second only to Zombie Flesh Eaters. Zombie Flesh Eaters, Zombie Creeping Flesh, Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead. Those films, they're just, and also Living Dead, The Manchester Morgue is another favourite of mine as well. But Zombie Creeping Flesh just has to be one of the most fantastic titles going. But the film, for a very long time, and most of the time upon being released, is actually known as Hell of the Living Dead. And let's just have a look on the other side. Well, I'm getting carried away and getting into full spurious diatribe here, but loving the Bruno goodness. This one again is also region free, but it's released here in the UK from 88 Films, and thank you 88 Films. Glorious stuff. Really terrific release. But as I was saying, it's always pretty much known as Hell of the Living Dead. But when I first got around to actually seeing this for the first time fully uncut, it was under the title of Virus. Now, this film, Hell of the Living Dead, Zombie Creeping Flesh, Virus, is from 1980, but took me until, I think it may well have been the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, long after I'd first seen the film, before I finally got to see third generation VHS copy, the film fully uncut, under the title of Virus. And on this release, amongst the extras, you can see the titles as Virus as well as Hell of the Living Dead. Now, although this one's released as Zombie Creeping Flesh, ironically, you can't see the film with the titles, as far as I can recall, having first gone through it, looking at it, with Zombie Creeping Flesh, which is a shame. I do believe that Virus comes up. You can choose Virus, or you just kick into Hell of the Living Dead. But it's the full uncut version of the film, that's for sure. It looks absolutely fantastic. Beautiful stuff. There's some of the extras there in glorious HD. And you can watch it in Italian original language with English subtitles or English dub. And pretty much most of the cast was speaking English anyway. So although it's Italian language original, it's one of those pseudo ones, because the English dub is actually very good. And I would suggest, certainly if you're watching it for the first time, watch it with English dub. It's one of the best English dubs. The good thing about the Italians were that since the 50s, going back to the 50s, 60s and 70s and 80s, they had their own in-house dubbing artists, proper dubbing artists who knew their stuff. dedicated to their art, and you've got some glorious voices, so much so that you'll have recognisable names from the Italian films. People like Al Cliver, who immediately comes to mind. You'll just get so used to hearing his voice, particularly from Zombie Flesh Eaters, with the English dub over artist, that you'll think that's his speaking voice, but it's actually not. But it's really good, very, very good, and I do highly recommend checking out Zombie Creeping Flesh with the English dub. We've got some extra bits and pieces here with this one as well. There we go, just have a look at that, and just a little booklet tells you a bit about the history of the film. And there we go, that's the original cover art for the VHS release in the UK when I first watched the film. And there we go, I think there's another title for it as well, Apocalypse Cannibal. Incredible. But of course you had Antonio Margheriti, who did Cannibal Apocalypse, so probably that title didn't last very long at all. But also this one from 88 Films comes with a very nice slipcover with that original artwork from Zombie Creeping Flesh, but also I'm guessing with Virus as well, because there we are, it's under the Virus cover title there. But that is the original cover art for Zombie Creeping Flesh that I do remember seeing it as. And here's some alternate artwork. Now I think ironically this one says Zombie Creeping Flesh, but I seem to recall that this is actually the Virus cover art. So interesting stuff. At least we're getting a real cross section of all of the goodness there. Absolutely fantastic indeed. Really just so good. Brilliant stuff. Zombie Creeping Flesh. Really do enjoy this one. Just absolutely a true zombies on the loose in a gore-organic fun fest from Bruno Mattei. Absolutely wonderful stuff. True goodness. And moving right on into Rats Night of Terror, again from 88 Films. Beautiful release, Blu-ray, HD. Again, you cannot go wrong. And I watched this, loved it. I mean, it's just a barrel load of bonkers, but wonderful barrel load of bonkers, that's for sure. Get this one on tap any day. Fill your glass with this. Forget the wine. Fill your boots with Bruno, vintage Bruno. 1984, great stuff, fully uncut. Again, English language, dub or original Italian with English subtitles. Just brilliant stuff. Nice interior with pretty groovy Blu-ray disc there from 88 Films as well. They do good stuff, 88 Films. When they get it right, they do get it right. Occasionally they sort of blip, but these are all fully uncut works of brilliance. And again, this one comes with nice slipcover edition as well to really bathe in the Bruno brilliance. And you also again get your little sort of pamphlet booklet as well. I mean, look at that artwork as well. That is, I think, well, I know I've got somewhere hidden away a poster of that artwork. I mean, that is really very cool. I always liked that. That's the German release of it. Just a little bit about the film inside. If you pick this one up, you'll be able to read through that yourselves. But such a wonderful array of just extras and bonus material from 88 Films. Well done. Absolutely wonderful stuff. And Rats Night of Terror, 1984 movie. Bruno Mattei, Claudio Fragasso, and Rossella Drudi wrote this one, and Fragasso was the assistant director on this one to Bruno as well. And just an interesting little sort of tidbit as well, for those that may not be aware. This one stars Ottaviano Del Acqua as Kurt. He's the leader of the ragtag band of post-apocalyptic survivors who take refuge out of the acid rain in a town hotel, but soon discover, of course, come nightfall, that they're sort of spending the nights with some flesh-hungry hordes of rats. And it's just one of the great last shot surprise endings to this movie as well. Absolutely fantastic. Main reason for mentioning Ottaviano Dell'Acqua as well is perhaps because he's actually surprisingly most famous under heavy makeup rather than seeing his face. His face may not be instantly recognisable to you because he's most famous for playing the infamous worm eye zombie from Lucio Fulci's epic Gump Muncher zombie flesh eaters. So just a little bit of a sort of tidbit there. When you're watching Kurt in Rat's Night of Terror, he is the guy under heavy makeup with the worm eye as the zombie. Really cool stuff indeed, but fabulous stuff all round here, guys. Just absolutely wonderful, wonderful stuff. And for me particularly, I love all of this stuff, but to get Robowar particularly, it's just the real Bruno icing on the cake. It really, really is. Shocking dark there, zombie creeping flash, and Rat's Night of Terror. Glorious stuff. Hope you enjoyed this one. I am delighted, and these are movies I've watched dozens of times and will watch dozens of times more. Just wonderful Bruno Mattei, Vincent Dawn, groovy goodness. That's just drool worthy B-movie bliss for me. Hope you've enjoyed this one. Take care, everybody. See you all soon. Bye for now.